All right, guys, what's up? So this is a follow-up video from a trade that I took on Monday, live with you guys. I'll post the link to the video in the description. All right, it's the last video that I would have posted before this one. But basically, I am updating you on this trade. Now, I took two other trades this week, one being EuroCAD, and I lost 10 pips on that. And I took one on US30, and I also lost 10 pips on that as well. Now, the interesting thing with this is this trade is still running. And as you can see, it's running in deep profit. Now, I want to go over this very quickly. Let's quickly run over the exact time that I entered and the exact reason. So remembering, obviously, I basically utilize momentum. You're looking at this as overall bullish momentum. I would have gone over all of this in the previous video, but I am looking at overall bullish momentum. Price went up, created a high. I would like to see price get back to this high to possibly reverse off of it. And thus, that's exactly what I was anticipating. Price bounced off of the trend line, moving average cross. This was in New York, by the way. You can do it in any session. I just prefer Asian, but it's not unheard of for me to do it in New York. And I was waiting on a very specific candle. I used this candle. I would have broken down as to why I used this candle in the previous video. And you can tell here, this is literally a zero drawdown entry, getting to the zone that I was anticipating it to go to. And then literally after about about an hour, breaking the zone completely and then continuing in a bullish direction. I held this trade, excuse me, I'm still holding this trade actually. And if you pay attention, in a matter of about a day, right? The trade went a maximum of about 192 pips, right? I'm not going to go into detail as to how I held this trade in profit by trailing my stop loss, but the trade ultimately got to 270 pips profit, and it is currently floating at about 247 pips profit. What's actually quite interesting about this is this red line here is where my stop loss is in profit. And that is at 187 pips. Now, I want you to take this into consideration. I'm telling you that I lost EuroCAD earlier this week. That's minus 10. I'm also telling you that I lost US30 earlier this week, which is another minus 10, totaling minus 20 pips. But I have a trade here right now, floating open at 247 pips. And I have it secured at 187 pips. Worst case scenario, this trade comes back and takes me out minus 187 pips. For this week, that would equal me having taken 3 trades, winning 1, losing 2, which would equal a win to loss ratio of about 53.3%. All right. But my literal, I would be up at the end of the week, right? Today's Thursday. I'll be up at the end of the week. You know why? Because I've only lost 20 pips this week, whereas I would have won if it comes back and takes me out this week. If it does, I would have won 187. If you do the maths, 187 minus 20 is 167. I'd still be up 167 pips. I say this every single time. It is not, and if you realize, it's not like I didn't have a general idea that this is what is going to happen. I even had drawings insinuating what I think it was going to do. I did this live with some of my students last night. The whole idea is, it's not so much in trying to win every single trade. I say this every single time. It's not in trying to win every single trade. It's making sure that when you do win, you hold that winner for as long as you can. The mistake most traders, I think, make is that they tend to hold on to the losers, or they have the losers be very, very big. And then as soon as they win anything, they close it prematurely. So their losses oftentimes consume their winners. We've all been there. We've all been there or seen traders do it, where they have losses of 60, 70 pips, but winners of 30, 20, even 10 pips, 5 pips. You'll never, ever, ever grow if it is your losses are bigger than your winners. That is the mistake that I think a lot of people make. So what I'm telling you now is it's floating at 250 pips. If I wanted to close it right now, I could close it right now at 25 times my reward. And I would be taking home about, let's just say for the week, I'll be taking home about 230 pips. But I'm not going to close it because I don't see any reason for it to stop going. And worst case scenario, it can keep it could take me out at 187. Best case scenario, it can keep going and I'll keep trailing it. You can check back with this in about a week. Check back. You check it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Check it back. Check and see what cadjpy would have done over the past and see if, it would have gone, if it would have stopped me out. Check it out for yourself. You understand? Don't take my word for it. And what's actually quite interesting about this is I call cadjpy buys in my analysis channel, and I did it here, and I did it here. And both of these trades were winners. This one took me out at plus 70 pips. Wide by this red line here. This is where this one took me out, right? About something like that, right? But this one is still floating. I was right about both of them. Why? It's just about understanding analysis, taking your entry. Don't overcomplicate anything. The more simple something is, the less moving parts it is or it has, the easier it is to apply. That's it. I see this mistake being made all the time by most traders. They tend to try to overcomplicate their analysis, and thus they end up either making a mistake and not taking the correct trade, or not taking the trade at all because the analysis is so complicated they don't even know where to begin. Don't make that mistake, guys. So this is just a simple overview of of what's going on this week. Pretty solid week thus far. Like I said, cadjpy is doing it right now. As you can see, it's going back to this high. Yeah, so let's see what happens. So it's right now floating at, in literally the space of about a minute, it went 10 pips in my favor, from 250 to 260, right? And it's 261 right now. That's the power of holding a trade open, right? So I hope that this made some sense to you. I hope that you grab something, you learn something, you can use this in your own trading. This is really what being a trader entails, having the winners win for as long as they can. And yeah, if you have any questions, again, don't be afraid to reach out to me at EkataTrading, or you can check out the website, EkataTrading.com. And yeah, you can reach me anywhere you deem fit, EkataTrading.com, at Telegram, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok at EkataTrading. And yeah, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.